July 10th, and it's 10 in the morning, but it's the day of my Disney interview, so I'm super excited. My interview's at 1. It's for part-time server position in Disney World, so I'm super excited. I'm super nervous, and I'm going to shower and get ready so that I stop being anxious. So yeah, I'll catch you in a little bit. Okay, so it is 12:41. My interview is at 1, but they recommend being online and in the meeting up to 15 minutes before your interview, because it's possible that the interview could start 15 minutes before or 15 minutes after your scheduled time. So it is 12:41. I just got on, so I am incredibly nervous. So I'm gonna record bits and pieces of the interview and put it in here so you can hear a bit of that. So this is my workspace. We still have Christmas decorations because our roommate hasn't taken them home yet. This is what my recruiter's gonna see. It should be fine. I'm panicking slightly. My boyfriend just left because I told him I won't let him be in here for the interview because he makes me nervous. So it is 12:42, and I will record bits and pieces and I will put them in here for y'all. And I'm nervous.
There's no such thing as like I would say a slow day.
Right.
It is a very fast-paced environment. There is very little downtime. A rush here does not last like 1 to 2 hours. It lasts maybe like 5 to 6 hours.
Right.
So there is not going to be, you're going to be on your feet, you're going to be running, you're going to be doing something pretty much for the duration of your shift. High volume location.
Sometimes I would go over to the table. I'd be like, "Hey, those kids' meals are ready. Would it be better if I brought those out first while we're still waiting on those adult entrees? Maybe that would make them feel a little better." We also have a little like menus that the kids can color on with some crayons, and they seem to really enjoy those as well.
Yes, perfect. All right. Okay. So with our appearance guidelines, we call them Disney Look. So for hairstyles, we just expect them to be clean, natural, well-maintained, in a naturally occurring color. So no like blues, greens, pinks, that kind of thing. But there's no restriction on cut, length, or style. Just has to be clean, natural, well-maintained. Visible tattoos are permitted as long as they are no larger than your hand when fully extended with the fingers held together. So if I hold my hand like this and the tattoo fits within inside my hand, it's allowed to be visible while you were at work.
Okay.
It's a very recent change.
Yes.
Do you have any visible tattoos?
Yes, I do. I have my wrist here, which is smaller than my hand, as well as my wrist. Yep, wrist here, which is smaller than my hand. And then this, I believe, is going to be bigger than my hand. It's just text here, which would be bigger than my hand. But when I was at Disney World on my college program, before the Disney guidelines changed, I had usually covered up my tattoos with makeup or those like baseball sleeves. So I would absolutely be willing to adhere to those guidelines once again.
Yeah. Based on the guidelines that they have now, the sleeve for your costume should cover most of it, and as long as that piece that's speaking out isn't larger than your hand, I believe it's still allowed to be.
Oh, perfect.
So you should do it either way.
Perfect.
Only place that we currently still do not allow tattoos is just the neck or the face area.
Of course.
All right. Do you have any kind of body modifications, such as gauges, facial piercings, anything like that?
Yes, I do have a nose piercing that I would be willing to remove, of course.
Okay. All right, perfect. Yep, that's the only kind of thing. So we don't allow any face piercings, obviously, while you're at work, so you just have to remove it for the duration of your shift. We do allow 2 piercings per ear now, and it can be in any location on the ear.
Okay.
So you can have, we have some customers have the center, the up piece. It's just a maximum. All right, Miss Katie. If you would like, I would love to offer you a part-time server position here at Walt Disney World.
Yes, I would love to that. I'd love to accept that.
Awesome. All right, so here are the next steps.
Okay.
So I'll be sending you an email. It will have your offer letter attached. You'll have 48 hours to accept that offer, so make sure when you get the email, you go ahead and click accept. Otherwise, you have to wait another 6 months, reapply, and we don't want that.
Of course. So, good news. I got the job. So I will be returning to Disney World as a part-time tipped server. I don't know where yet. I don't know what land. I don't know what restaurant. I don't even know if I'm at a resort. They said I won't get that closer to the date of my traditions. But the interview went really well. They asked me some really tough questions that I was completely honest with the recruiter. And I just straight up told her, I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that question. Questions about like truffles and mushrooms, and I'm allergic to mushrooms, so I don't know anything about mushrooms, and caviar, which I've never had caviar, so I couldn't even answer that question properly. So I was like, oh my gosh, I totally butchered this interview. I'm not going to get this job. But everything but those really tough like trivia questions, I answered really great, and I'm really happy with how I answered them. And then she was like, okay, I'm gonna put you on mute, or I'm gonna mute myself for a couple minutes so that I can look and see like what kind of availability we have. Like, when are you available to start? And I said end of August would be the earliest start date, because, you know, we need to wrap things up here in Georgia before we head down. And she said that actually works perfectly. Like, most places are slated to rehire or like hire more people in like mid to end of August. I was like, all right, sounds perfect. So then she's like, okay, like, let me check my availability and like what we have available in that time. So she checked the availability and she came back. She's like, well, I would love to offer you the role if you would accept it. I was like, absolutely. So I have the role. I'm going back to Disney World end of August. My boyfriend and I are going to be looking for a place to stay. So if you know of anyone that is looking for roommates, he also has his interview any minute now, which is why I'm actually leaving the apartment, because he granted me that courtesy when it was time for my interview. He's like, okay, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna let you have your privacy while you're on your interview. And I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So he let me have my privacy. So I'm offering him the same courtesy while he's on his interview. So his interview is at 3:00. My interviewer was late. It's actually the same girl that's interviewing him as well. We actually got that recruiter's name in her email. So his interviewer is the same person as my interviewer. My interview ran late. She didn't actually come onto the Zoom call until almost 15 minutes after my scheduled start time. She did send me an email right about 1:00 when my interview was supposed to start. She sent me an email. She's like, hey, I just wanted to let you know, I have a current interview that is running late, but I will be with you soon. I was like, okay, no problem. Like, I panicked a little bit because I didn't actually get that email until after the interview, but it was fine. It all worked out. So his interview is at 3:00. He's currently waiting. He's on Zoom. He's logged in up in the apartment. And I offered to leave, and I'm going to go to Target because it's literally down the road. I work my other job in a couple hours, so I'm going to run to Target. I'm going to get some groceries, probably, and then go back. Once he's done with his interview, I told him to call me when he's done so that I know it's safe to come home. So I will let you know how he does. I will give you all an update as soon as he gets his interview over with. Hello, it is Katie from the future the next day. So Austin got the job. So we are both going to be returning to Disney World, both as part-time servers at the end of August. So I'm super excited to be able to return to the parks and make magic for hundreds and thousands and millions of guests every year. I'm so excited. It is a little stressful now. We have to move in the next month. We're kind of getting that figured out today. So basically after the interview, what happened is I got my email a couple hours later. I didn't expect it to come immediately because, of course, you know, the recruiters got other interviews to go to and things like that. So I got my email a couple hours later with all the information, my offer letter that I had to accept within 48 hours, as well as like this scheduling service. And it called it another phone interview, but the recruiter's like, it's not a phone interview. It's just like you call a concierge sort of service, and they will schedule your orientation date at casting, as well as your traditions, which is currently called, like, I think Welcome to Disney or something like that. It's not called traditions right now because it is like a modified traditions because of COVID. It's at ESPN now instead of Disney University. But anyway, so he and I have the same exact onboarding date, which is still the same. You go to casting, you do your fingerprints, background check, all of that. You give your photo ID, social security card, whatever, you know, those kind of documents. So we are both going to be doing that on August 24th. We're gonna just drive down from Georgia for that day because that appointment is at 2:30 for both of us. And it's only a 3-hour drive. And then got my low power notification. After that interview or after that casting appointment, then we do not have Traditions or Welcome to Disney until August 28th. So we have 4 days, 3 days kind of, between our casting and Traditions. So instead of freaking out and finding an apartment by August 24th, we're gonna give it a couple days. We're gonna drive down for that day. Maybe if we do have something already lined up, we can start getting things settled, but we're not gonna stress about it too much. Our goal is to be living in Orlando by August 27th. That way, we're ready, we're settled, we're ready to get up in the morning and go to Traditions together because we have the same Traditions date as well. So that's the plan right now. We are stressing and freaking out and putting calls into so many different complexes. But today was actually a huge step. We actually put an application in for Patterson Court, which if you're familiar with the Disney College program, or you watched any of my vlogs or anyone else's vlogs on YouTube about the Disney College program, you'll know that Patterson Court was one of the 4 housing complexes offered to CPs up until when Disney World just closed for the pandemic and the CPs were all sent home. That was the last time that was rented out by CPs. Disney no longer has any ownership of the properties. It is all Lincoln Property Management, I want to say, because Disney just built that brand new huge complex Flamingo Crossing for all of their college program employees, cast members, I apologize. So Patterson Court was actually available to be rented. So it was like $9.99 a month for a 1-bed, 1-bath. I can relive my college program. I'm so excited. I lived in Patterson 12107. So if you were in Patterson 12107 or in Building 12 in Patterson, or just you love Patterson, you lived there in the past, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. But I'm super excited. The only problem I have heard about Patterson right now, how they're managed and their managing company and everything, is that they are severely understaffed. And there's so many rental applications coming in. Someone said there's like 2,000 applications in and a very short amount of staff. So it is taking a long time for Lincoln Property Management to get back to anyone regarding their application. It is also next to impossible to get through on the phone. I called 10 times this morning. I didn't get through once. My boyfriend ended up calling something like 27 times this afternoon because we needed questions answered. And he ended up getting through and he spoke to someone. He said they weren't the most helpful, but he did speak to someone because we needed proof of income to be attached to the rental application. So we didn't know if we should include our current pay stubs from our jobs, or because we're going to be working for Walt Disney World, if our offer letter from Walt Disney World would count as our proof of income. So we called them today. They said our offer letter does count as proof of income. So we are super excited. We put in that application actually just a couple hours ago. I'm really nervous because I've heard they take a really long time to get back to you about your application. And we don't have a really long time. We have a month and some odd days. So I'm gonna give them a week or two before I start bombarding their phone and email and see if there is any update on our application, if we're approved, denied, and if we are denied for some reason, whatever reason that may be, you know, they are at capacity, whatever, they don't have any units available, then we need a refund on that deposit that we paid because it was a $250 holding fee to submit the application. So we would need that deposit back so that hopefully we could apply for more places, because we do have like kind of like a backup list of other complexes in the Orlando, Kissimmee, Lake Buena Vista area that we would be willing to live in that are really nice. So we're keeping all of our options open right now, but we did put an application for Patterson. That's the only application we've put in. So the way it would work if we do get into Patterson is that unit that we applied for becomes available on September 2nd. So between August 27th and September 2nd, we wouldn't have a place to stay. But we have friends in the Orlando area. I'm sorry, I'm speaking so fast. We have friends in the Orlando area. I have some family friends in the Orlando area, Kissimmee area, Disney World area. So worst comes to worst, we're hoping someone will let us use their guest bedroom or pull out couch, or I'll pull up an air mattress on the floor if that's okay with them. At this point, we don't really have many options and we're just hoping for the best. So with that being said, I will keep everyone updated. I'm going to try and do my best to continue vlogging because I was really bad at it on my CP. Honestly, I did like 3 vlogs and that was about the extent of my vlogging on my CP versus Austin, who was much better at vlogging. So I will link his YouTube channel in the comments below if you want to check out some of his old videos from our CP back in 2017, 2018. He's got way more videos than I do, but if you want to check out the couple videos I have, you can check those out on my channel as well. So thank y'all so much for watching. I'm super excited to be going back to Disney World and making magic again, and I will catch you later. Bye.